Sports Media, welcome back to this week's edition of the Baileyton Drug Company, TMB, BNT, whatever you want to refer to it as show, presented by Starnes Barbershop. As always, joined here with Lady Huskies head coach James Buchanan and Huskies head coach Sam Tarlton, fellas.
Well,
hook 'em horns. Hook 'em horns.
Golly.
It's 10 degrees outside. He's got no socks on. He's got Texas Hey Dudes. And one of these burnt orange Nike.
Should have got him some
Who
Texas.
is that? Texas.
Texas
With his lanyard that I did
Christmas.
not get. I didn't get that.
I
Where's
got
your
mine.
Duke lanyard?
It'll get put on probably after this Friday.
Well, hey, if you can't wear that when they lose, you shouldn't be allowed to wear it
I'll
when
wear
they
the
win.
shirt in here on next
Oh.
Monday or Tuesday.
You don't
Got to
have
change
any-
the lanyard out when it comes
I
to
didn't want to
basketball
kind
season, though.
of mention this.
And then
while
after
you were-
basketball season, it goes to a Red Sox lanyard.
I wanted to, Red Sox.
Yeah.
I wanted to surprise you with this.
All right.
I didn't want to give you any time to prepare while you were setting up, so I just kind of kept quiet on the subject. Arizona State got cheated.
Let's talk about it.
Oh, it's a targeting. If they're going to have this rule,
That was target.
I believe they need to enforce it all the time and not just when they want to, when they can get a team that's going to have a better draw in the Final Four. Who wants Arizona State there, right? So, yeah, let's just screw them over and not award them a target. Hey, they kick a field goal, win that game, and you don't have none of that on today. How's it feel to, of course, I like Duke. Everybody always says that Duke gets calls. I disagree with that, but that's a pretty rotten call there, Tyler.
Well, let's debate both targeting
Pretty
calls.
rotten call. I just saw the last 2 minutes of the game. That's the only one I saw.
Oh,
didn't
well.
even watch
I got a notification that it was a close game, and I was actually out here on January 1st on official top secret business.
Okay. But you can't let us know.
Can't tell you what I was doing out here. But I pulled it up on my phone, watched the last 2 minutes, and I saw the missed field goal, and then plenty of time. And I think they maybe picked up one first down with their legs. Quarterback from Arizona State, I can't remember. So they were somewhere around the 40. Don't quote me on none of this. I just was watching it on my tiny screen, and then got a targeting call that just got brushed to the side.
I gotta ask, how's it targeting?
A helmet to helmet.
Was it the
Defenseless receiver.
Was he defenseless?
I don't know.
He
I'd have
catches
to go
the
back and
pass,
look at it again.
takes a step, and turns towards him. So, if his face mask is pointed in a direction where he can see Taft,
Was his head
is
lower?
it defenseless? Whose?
The receiver.
The receiver?
Yeah.
I'd have to go back and look at the receiver. I'm
See
looking
it.
at Taft because Taft is the one that you're calling targeting
All I
on.
know is what I hear.
Targeting bullet point, though, has to be the crown of the helmet. Was it the crown of the helmet?
Helmet to helmet. That's what I've always heard. If that's
It
the
could
first
be
thing
helmet
to
to
hit
helmet,
somebody.
but if the offensive player lowers, then what are you supposed to do as a defensive player?
All right. Well, the next day, Stephen A. Smith's all over it.
On my Twitter, everybody was
over that next day. I was sick of
targeting.
it.
Well,
Classic
What about
targeting.
Scatterbo getting pulled into the end zone?
I don't even know who that is. Who are you talking about?
Did you see
That
that
running
play?
back, you ain't supposed to be able to do that. I heard.
Nope.
Who's that?
He gets
Who's he play for?
stopped. Arizona State's running
Oh.
back. He gets stopped at the 2-yard line, and one of his linemen
You ain't never heard of
literally.
that running back's a stud. He had like
Literally.
the best game of the whole thing.
Big 12 was off my radar this year.
He had 285 total
As
yards
it probably should have been.
as basically in every category. He had passing, receiving, and rushing. He had only 99 yards less than Texas had total.
You know what these papers right here mean?
Did we all get them
We're all
wrong?
stupid.
Did we all get them wrong?
I'm the only one that's got somebody left.
Yeah, we picked Georgia, so we're done too.
I've got Notre Dame and Tennessee. Well, that didn't work out. Sam had Georgia and Tennessee. That didn't work out. You had Oregon and Georgia. That didn't work out. So I guess I win. What was on this? Actually, I probably didn't win. It depends on how we score it because I only have one of the Final Four left. You have two. You've got Texas. Oh, Sam has two. Texas and Penn State. And you only have one. Texas.
Sam probably wins just looking at it.
Yeah, because he had two in the Final Four. Even though, now,
He
surely
had
I get
two.
something for...
I think nobody wins because
if Notre Dame wins, surely I get something because I at least had somebody in the championship game correct. It's pretty bad, though. I mean, this is worse than I do during basketball.
Sam definitely won just by looking at it. But
I
then
think
we
I
really...
win. I'll take
Yeah, I
one.
missed 2 first-round games. Sam just missed 1. Poor old Tennessee, he got the rest of them right. But then, yeah, he gets 2 second-round games. I only got 1. But I might get a third round. I think you're right. I think he wins.
He does because
You've got no more points left to get.
show him all three. Yeah, who's that? Is this yours? You've
That's
got
me.
2 X's. We've each got 1, but he has 1.
What are we talking
Right now,
about?
Sam's got 6 X's. You've got 7.
7.
I've got 7. Here's
So
the
if he's
thing
got
about
one less X,
it. I might
wins.
get one more X.
It's a tie.
Y'all get no more X's. I might
Well, that
get
is
one
the
more.
thing. What if James gets Notre Dame in the championship?
I
Does he
should
then?
win
Yeah,
because
he should win then.
that,
Okay,
that
so
should
it's
be
not
worth a little
technically
more.
I'm
That's how we
fine.
did basketball.
I'm fine with it.
Go
All right.
Irish. I could care less. I hope they lose, even if it means I lose this thing. Who they playing? Penn State? Never mind. I hope they both lose.
I'm on the basketball now.
Is
I was about to
Texas
say, I bet all y'all are doing with college football now. Y'all don't like any
is
of the 4
the
teams
is the
left.
Texas Ohio State winner the national champion or does
You
Penn
would
State?
assume, but you never know.
You never know.
think
Texas
people are
obviously
gonna-
can lose to anybody.
Treat it like a championship game, but
I think Texas can lose to anyone. Ohio State, however, I don't think they can lose to just anybody except Michigan. Michigan looks a little better than everybody.
well, y'all thought Tennessee 3 weeks ago, but
You put a quarterback on Michigan. They're right up there with all of them. But they
they'll
got
have
their
one next
quarterback.
year. They'll have one. Bryce Underwood. You know his name?
What position? What would you say, Bryce Underwood?
Bryce Underwood.
Where's he from?
I think he's from Michigan.
That's the one. No.
Oh, he's the one that flipped.
Portnoy paid all that money.
Number 1 overall recruit.
He's going to be at Michigan now.
Yep. We'll know his name soon.
I'm afraid Tennessee. I keep waiting on them. Keep
You know-
being patient, but I'm afraid they're just striking out a
You know
little bit.
Faison Brandon?
Mm-mm.
You will.
Who's he going to play for?
Oh,
He's
no.
number 1 player in the country, 2026.
Mm.
Balls.
Vols.
Balls, baby.
We ain't striking out on no portal. We don't want none of them people.
I don't know, Coach. We need a few.
I don't know. I think
I
y'all
know.
wanted Zachariah Branch.
Okay, timeout.
We need some linemen
Let-
and offensive linemen.
We'll get
bad.
linemen. Listen, we got Big Dave Sanders. We got Lance Hurd's got to be better. I mean, he's a 5-star that spent the whole preseason camp hurt. Must not have learned anything from Brian Kelly. But hey, he's learning now. 'Cause he's in Big Orange country.
Afraid it might be the other way around.
But listen, no, oh no, you guys
Do you really think
Word.
Sanders gonna step in and be good as a freshman?
immediately. Big stud.
Hey, the number 1 overall player in the whole class, it's Proctor, I think was his last name, for Alabama 2 years ago. He was number 1.
Caden Proctor.
Yeah, he got destroyed.
You think it's an upgrade from Dane?
He's back up, but yeah.
Well, listen, everybody calm down because you hear all this stuff. Tennessee's going to spend all kinds of money in the portal. Well, what was the whole focus of the last 2 weeks? Retaining Mike Matthews.
Mm-hmm.
They got him to stay, and I think they've learned a lesson. If you're going fishing every year in the portal, you're not giving your younger players a chance to play early. So you're going to start losing out on these recruits. They've got guys in the building right now that are as good as, if not better than these duds in the portal.
I agree, but we got our depth at wide receiver.
It'll be all right. It'll be all right. We'll play freshmen next year.
So you think it's better to wait on your recruits to
It
develop
depends on
instead
what
of
your
recruiting?
roster already consists of.
I think you got to have a good mix. I think you want to play those young guys early, but I think if you get like one,
You know when you need a portal, a good overhaul in the portal? When you've got a redshirt freshman quarterback. You know when you don't need guys in the portal? When you've got a sophomore All-American. Book it.
if he takes that step, I agree with you.
Book it.
They say
They
a
got-
couple of them freshmen they like are going to be good.
We sit here in this office for 15 minutes this morning. Me and Roger and Calvin. Sam was in there watching film because this man, if you prepare, if you fail to prepare, just prepare to fail. And that we try to prepare around here.
Who's that? Is that
I
John
don't
Wood?
remember. But anyway, we had Coach Tilson in here. The room was sitting full. We spent 15 minutes belly aching about it. Don't you think a man that's getting paid $9 million a year ain't been sitting in his little office with his staff trying to figure his stuff out? I think they're going to be okay. They'll be in the mix.
I hope so.
I think you're starting to see now that the portal's very vital to success now in college football because look at the 4 teams left in the playoffs. Look at who their main stars are. Will
See,
Howard,
Leonard came
Crenshaw
from
Judkins.
the Notre Dame quarterback,
Yeah,
right?
Ohio State, they're 2 stars, portal. Notre Dame, their
Which two
quarterback,
from
portal.
Ohio State came
Will
from?
Howard and Judkins. Judkins
Okay.
came from Ole Miss. Howard came from Kansas State. Texas, Quinn Ewers, Matthew Golden, Isaiah Bond.
Where was Ewers at first?
Ohio State.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
Didn't play any snaps. I think he played 1 game against Michigan State, and that was it.
Hey, is
Wasn't
he
good
really
enough.
getting all
when
that?
you're behind,
Was
who
he
was
good?
it at the time?
Is
Wasn't
he
good
going to get
enough.
all that money and go elsewhere next year?
I don't think he should go to the draft, but he's not going to stay at Texas because it's going to be Arch's team next year. So if he does want to stay in college football, I've heard the rumors are Notre Dame, which might be a good fit for him.
I like that coach.
Penn State, I don't really keep up with
Something
them,
about it.
so I don't know if they have portal guys or not. But
LSU's got some. I think they're going to be decent. They got some big guys in the portal, and their quarterback's coming back. So we'll see.
that might actually hurt them.
SEC took a shot this year. Everybody's making fun of them. So you know what I heard yesterday on the radio? They might get 13 teams in the basketball tournament. You believe that?
I know. I don't ever think it's that many.
No, it won't be that many. But geez, just the fact they're talking about
What's
it.
a lot? 10? 9?
A lot is 5.
Think a lot's 5?
Well, it depends on what conference
think
it
they're like
is.
the-
I think out of a power 4.
What's the most ever? Like 10?
Well,
Probably.
I'm gonna guess 8 or 9. I ain't never heard of no 10 teams from one
I
league.
feel like the ACC had 10 a few years ago.
Yeah,
or
I think so
something.
too. I think 10 is maybe the highest ever.
That's 1/5 of the whole field. 1/6.
Golly, Tennessee's good in basketball. They're fun to watch. Fun to watch.
How much does it hurt to say the only SEC team that's left is Texas?
They're not an SEC team, so they ain't
Yes,
none of
they
that.
are.
There ain't none.
Runner up. Here, okay.
Runner
You
up.
They're
wanna-
gonna ride that easy schedule right
you
in
wanna
there
talk
next year.
what's crazy?
I love when Tennessee fans tell me easy schedule because it's the same exact schedule as Tennessee.
Well, here's what's crazy about the whole thing.
But Texas did better than Tennessee did with their schedule this year. So
Georgia got punished for winning the SEC title game, and Texas
I
got
agree.
rewarded.
I agree.
This whole thing's a farce.
Penn State did too. Penn State didn't even. Well, yeah, they did. They got beat by Oregon and got
Golly.
rewarded too.
They got SMU and
Boise.
what?
Yeah, look at poor Oregon. Win all your games. Here's what you get: the team that's playing best in the country. Lose the Big Ten championship. Here's what you get: 2 cupcakes. It's wrong. The whole thing's messed
they're
up.
gonna
They
have
got
to
to
fix
fix
that
it.
part. They're gonna have to fix that.
Got-
I'd love to
fix
see it change next year, but if not, it has to be 2 years from now. I think the NFL needs to do the same thing too. The NFL's having that same situation going on right now.
Yeah, isn't it Minnesota Vikings like the 5th seed now?
The Minnesota Vikings are 14-3 as the 5th seed. The Rams won the West and they're 9-7. The Bucks won the South and they're 11-6.
Yeah.
And then you've got the 2 other wild card teams, Washington and Green Bay have won 12-11. So the 4th seed has the least amount of wins, and they're going to host Minnesota.
Yeah.
They're going to host Minnesota. The team with the least amount of wins is going to host a team that has, I think, the 3rd amount of wins.
A team
In
that
the
was
whole
playing for the
NFL.
1 seed.
I watched that
Yep.
last. Did you see that last night?
They dropped from 1 to 5.
Minnesota early. I mean, it was a close game. Most
Just a
of the time.
bad game.
They got to the 5-yard line on first down 3 straight times and came away with 3 points.
They threw it to Jefferson all 3 times, too, and couldn't get it to him.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I
Arnold
thought
had a
of
bad
this
game
yesterday.
last
I was
night,
going to
too.
throw something out. I want to hear Sam's opinion on this, and Tyler, you too. I saw something crazy yesterday. Tampa Bay. They get a 4th down stop, so now they've got the ball. They've got I think it's an 8-point lead, 7 or 8.
Mike Evans.
Evans needed 5 yards to get 1,000 on the season. And if he got it, he would have tied Jerry Rice for most consecutive seasons with 1,000 yards receiving.
And made $1.5 million.
So, and I figured there was some kind of contract deal
Yeah.
where he
Well,
would get a
They put out a
1.5
list. They
million.
put out a list on Twitter. There was like 35
contract
of those
incentives,
things in
yeah.
the NFL.
that needed to happen
Yeah.
yesterday for guys to get bonuses.
Yeah, money thing.
All right.
He needed $1.5 million for 5 catches and $1.5 for 85 yards.
Well, he got both. Now, here's your situation. You've got the game won. The other team's out of timeouts. You're under 2 minutes. You take a knee, it's over. You drop back and throw a pass First of all, everybody knows who it's going to. What if you throw a pick and lose that game and miss the playoffs? And we can sit here as coaches and say, I'd take a knee. I don't care if a guy gets his money. Do you not understand the world we live in? A guy don't get his money, now he walks in free agency or demands a trade.
Think about
Coach gets fired.
Think about NFL is that money too. Is a lot of times it ain't guaranteed, is it? So them guys got.
Some is, but some's not.
I think in that sport for sure, you got to let them guys make their money.
It's gotten to where it's just so individualistic now. And I was thinking about that yesterday. I thought the right thing to do here is take a knee, but I'll promise you they're going to throw a pass to this guy. And you can say the announcer was saying, I don't think Mike Evans is the type of guy that would care one way or the other. He caught that pass, and they all threw a party for him.
I mean, that's a big record.
Yeah.
And then $3 million.
Is it a big record? Because Jerry Rice played 16 games a year. Now they play 17. If I was Jerry, I'd be sitting there saying, wait a minute, I did it in one less game all those years.
Mike did it in less than 17. He got hurt and missed a few weeks.
Well, yeah, but still, all these records that you are going to see fall in the foreseeable future.
But just have your name mentioned with the Jerry Rice.
Didn't Saquon Barkley come close to breaking a Dickerson record?
Yeah, he didn't play this week, though.
Yeah. They said
he played the full 16 and didn't play 17.
The person that took that the hardest was his dad. That's what they were saying.
You know what? He's got next year. Dickerson don't. He can't come back and do it again and add a game to his regular season.
Well, we can all go back and nitpick like that. Like, do we really consider Dickerson the king? Wouldn't it be OJ who did it in 14 games?
There you go.
Like, you can always go nitpick.
What about the Dolphins? The only team that went undefeated. Now it's just become much more difficult because everybody's playing an extra game.
Didn't nobody...
I think the Dolphins you got to win no matter what. I think that one's respectable.
How many less games did Barry Sanders play when he had... of course, he didn't
they were
break
16 about the whole time.
Were they?
Yeah.
I'm talking about in college.
What's weird about his record that a lot of people would have overlooked that you couldn't have really considered Genty the single season record holder was because the NCAA doesn't recognize Barry's bowl game rushing stats on that record. So if you look at his actual record,
I think it was like 3 less games.
He has like 2,800 yards in a season with that game added on, but they don't recognize it, so he only has like 26 whatever. And if Genty would have broke that, they would have considered him the record holder. But in reality, if you add on the bowl game that the NCAA doesn't recognize, that they do recognize now, Barry would be the record holder. There's a lot of nitpicking.
Let's change gears. WWE's moving to Netflix tonight. Talk about change. When's our show moving to Netflix?
I don't know.
Have you not been in talks
doing some
with the
football
people?
Games on Netflix now.
You've not been in talks with the Netflix people?
I can't even get a hold of somebody at Netflix more than likely.
Well, I didn't know. I figured they'd be calling you. When can we get these guys on Netflix? Are we winning the ratings battle?
I haven't even checked. It's been 2 weeks, so I don't know.
I think early there we struggled out of the gate, which is usually what happens when teams three-peat. Don't complacent.
They got people get bored. I guess.
Yeah, and then
we had to come up with some new material, and it's picked up.
But I think lately we've picked it back up.
Speaking of three-peat, we've got the NFL playoffs coming back. Are we going to do one of them?
We might as well. I've been wrong about everything else.
I was going to ask if the Chiefs win 3, but we'll hold that for later if we're going to film one.
How about the Bears winning yesterday? I saw where they gave up a field goal with 55 seconds, and I thought, that's just
Did you see how it happened, though?
Oh, no, I'm not even... They never get to play on television, hardly, and when they do, they get killed.
Did you read how it happened? They fumbled the ball for Green Bay to get it in their territory to kick the field goal.
Of course
I said, what a Bears thing to do, and then they come back and win it.
Yep.
Did you see that Skip Bayless stuff come out?
Yeah, I enjoy Taylor.
What's wrong with Skip?
We can't talk about that stuff on here.
Really?
We'll talk about that off air. Yeah, it's bad.
And that
Skip
lady,
in trouble?
Maybe. If it's true. And then, Shannon and that
Emmanuel.
Ocho Cinco?
No, not him. What's that girl that's on there?
Joy Taylor's the one that's in a lot of water, too, yeah.
Yeah, she's in some hot water.
Joy and Skip are the ones that are in really hot water. I've yet to read about...
stuff or doing stuff?
Doing stuff.
It's that human trafficking stuff.
It wasn't human trafficking.
Oh, never mind.
Human trafficking. Everybody right on them shows.
That's exactly what she did.
What'd she do?
Joy Taylor.
We can't say it on air.
We'll
talk about it in...
Sorry, everybody.
She played for the...
I don't have any idea what's going on.
Her brother played for the Miami Dolphins, right?
Jason Taylor was her brother?
Yeah.
No way.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my goodness. I didn't know that.
I'm
But
lost.
it was
I'm
weird
way
how
out
all
here.
of a sudden she was a small town radio host, and all of a sudden her next big job was the Herd with Colin Cowherd, and then she was like one of the faces of FS1.
Hey, let's put a plug in for old Cal Hurd. He never got mentioned.
What a guy! Nothing but terrible
Colin
takes and
Cowherd.
respect.
All right.
His name was not mentioned.
Are we
What a
ready
guy.
to talk about LeBron yet? He's 40 officially. And
Go ahead.
he's the best 40-year-old basketball player ever.
Hey, they're saying that was his son. He signed with Arizona.
Arizona.
They're saying that was a sympathy thing, that he's considerably worse than Bronny.
Think
I always
so?
heard people saying coming up he was better.
I thought Bryce was better too.
They flipped on that. They said
Didn't they?
considerably worse.
Well, Bronny was also a top 25 recruit at one time.
Yeah.
so
He's
that's
doing,
really
he's
right
doing
and
good.
wrong.
He's doing good in G League now.
Look at that.
Averaging 19 a game.
Gotta respect it. Can't talk trash about G League. You're there
I think
for a reason.
I'm ready to pronounce how this should be viewed. The whole Jordan LeBron. I think the way you look at that now, you know, all them guys like Skip, they fight about it. Stephen A. fuss and argue. I think you might have to say, I would say, that at the peak of their powers, there's not as big a gap there as I think some people try to lead you to believe. Because LeBron, when he was at his peak, was very special.
Where's that at?
Maybe Miami.
I think athletically, Miami for sure, but I think maybe peak. Where he
Second
still had.
trip to Cleveland.
Yeah, I think that might have been peak.
2018 LeBron
Yeah.
was probably peak LeBron. I hate to
So
say it.
you take peak LeBron and peak Jordan. I'd say a lot of people give Jordan a nod. I don't think the gap's as big as you might expect. But this is a runaway. As far as who's had the best career, it's LeBron just
Yeah.
because of the longevity. And here's something they threw in his face. He passed Jordan for most 30-point games in a career. Well, he played a lot longer. I think they said Jordan did it in 400 and some less games. You know what I didn't hear anybody say? Wonder how many career 10-point or 10 rebound games LeBron has versus Jordan. I wonder how many career 10 assist games LeBron had. See, they threw it in his face that he broke a Jordan record, but it took him so much longer to get it. Pull up those assists and those rebounds. See who, and it, I don't know, just a big debate, but congrats to the King for turning 40 and still being one of the top, he's got to be top 10, right?
Now?
Yeah?
No.
You don't think he's top 10?
No.
Give me 10 people in
He's
the world
top-
better than
Tyler,
him.
honey.
Give me 10 better than him.
I think this is the.
In the NBA right now,
Right now.
I think Tyler.
He is-
Tyler, I'm going to cut you off before you start. I think this is like the player, coach, and then media member argument. Because I think like people who play and coach would put him up there for sure, and then people in the media, like the same thing, would not.
Give me 10.
are you including leadership in there? If you include leadership, I
He's
can.
top
10 best
no,
players.
He's top 10.
Okay. Giannis,
Okay.
Luka,
I'll
I
give it to you.
hesitate. Oh, okay.
defensively, I could see where you hesitate. Offensively, though, insane.
Yeah. Okay.
Maybe.
Jokic.
Yeah.
Y'all are gonna
7
kill
more?
me for this one. Kevin Durant.
Nah. Okay,
Yes.
we'll throw him in there.
Well, what is your argument against Kevin Durant right now? 10 years ago, I was making this argument
You want
as
to
a dumb
argue
high
right
schooler.
now?
Yeah,
What's Phoenix's record?
that's true.
All right, move
But
on.
let's go
Give me
4
another
years ago when LeBron was missing the playoffs in his first year with the Lakers, but people were still telling me LeBron was better than KD then.
one. What did he do the next year?
LeBron? But don't bring up that Mickey Mouse
He won the whole
championship.
thing.
Anyway.
Everybody
go.
else tried too.
I don't
You
think.
know,
Everybody else tried.
I don't think I'll give you that fourth one, but I don't think you can. That's close splitting hairs. I think there's.
You Embiid? You want to throw him in there?
no, not Embiid no more.
Okay. Then you
He's
got
getting
6 more.
Google. He's got
He's
some
going to look
Google.
up
No, I gotta
NBA
look up
rosters.
teams. No, I just look up teams.
Trey Young,
No,
Damian Lillard,
no. Why are you throwing out names like that?
Jalen
I'll
Brunson.
give you another one. I'll
Jason
give you,
Tatum.
No.
Heck no.
I'll give
Not
you.
better than
I'll
Heck
give
no.
you Gilders Alexander. I'll give you him.
Shea.
I'll give you him.
Yeah, but I've got complaints about Shea
Hey.
too.
Tatum, we're not even sure he's the best player on his team, man.
Who is it?
Him and Brown or.
It's
similar.
not Brown right now.
We ain't even playing right now, but they're similar.
I just don't see it being Brown this year.
Okay.
Brown in the playoffs last year, yeah. How many we up to? 4?
Maybe Davis. Somebody.
I think Davis is better than
his own
LeBron.
teammate.
Yeah,
Okay,
I'll
maybe
give you that.
on his own team.
Sure.
How many up
Are we
to?
at 10 yet?
You ain't getting 10.
We got Tatum, Giannis,
KD,
Shea,
Luka,
KD, Luka,
Joker.
Devin
Jokic,
Booker.
Anthony Edwards.
And the Anderson.
No,
No, that
no.
ain't even close. That ain't even close. I think he's the most overrated player in the league. I really do.
He had 50 the other night.
I don't care. A lot of people have 50.
A lot of people have had 50. Surprisingly, who hasn't had 50 in
Kevin
their
Durant.
careers too? Kevin Durant. Has he never had 50?
Never had it.
That is right. No, he has.
I don't think he has. So efficient. Or definitely not had 60. He's not. He don't.
He's not had 60, no.
I don't think he's had 50.
Has LeBron ever had 60?
Franz Wagner. That's him. He's better. Banchero.
Banchero's not
You want me
better.
to keep naming them?
No.
Can you come up with 10?
Yes, I
He's
can
top
come up with
10 and he's 40.
He is not top 10 in the league no more.
He is.
We just tried to come up with 10. Donovan Mitchell.
It is
No.
hard to really pinpoint the top 10 in the NBA because you've got so
Let me
many
tell you who's
factors
on that
to it.
list.
It is not LeBron.
LBJ.
Before this year, I would have put Embiid on there, but you can't with
Hey,
all his injury
you know who
issues
wasn't
right now.
top 10 when he was 40?
Michael Jordan?
Michael Jordan.
Hey, we'll
Cool.
give you.
Go
We'll
with
give
it.
you Embiid, and you can't find 10.
I'd argue almost.
Jimmy Butler.
No.
I'm trying to help you. LaMelo Ball. That's it.
No, not LaMelo. Karl Anthony Towns.
De'Aaron Fox.
Towns. Oh gosh, he's reaching hard now. Towns.
No, I'm not saying Towns.
Hey,
is
you
better.
know what's picking up a little momentum out there, Laker fans? The De'Aaron Fox trade.
Hey, Steph
Go
Curry.
for
I'll
it.
give you Connect.
I wouldn't put Steph in the top 10 anymore either. Would you?
I think I would.
I've got him
Top
top
10
5
Steph.
all time, Stephen Curry. Top 5 all time.
Let's move on to high school basketball.
Hey, you win 4 championships and you're 6'3", and you're the key on all those teams. And you win 4.
He's definitely the best point guard of all time.
I think he's the most skilled basketball player that's ever lived. The only reason why people
Who's
don't
better
throw him
than
up
him?
there,
Magic's got to be the only one.
Well, you look at
Magic's
Magic's
the only
he would
point
dribble. Magic's my all-time favorite player. He would dribble circles around the man and laugh at him as he puts him to sleep. Magic would have nothing. He'd have him
Two different players,
sliding
though.
all over the place. But here's the knock on Curry. Magic could turn that rear end around and just start backing him under the goal. So I mean,
We're not even talking about one-on-one though. We're talking.
I'm just
about,
talking about skill level, skill set.
That ain't
Who
close.
shoots it? What are the skills of basketball? Dribbling, passing, and shooting. Defense is a skill.
Dribbling Steph.
Dribbling
You
Steph.
tell me somebody that's more highly skilled that's better in those categories.
People will crucify me for saying this. Kyrie Irving.
He is
Yeah.
skill.
Kyrie Irving.
I'll give
A
you
lot of
that.
people hate Kyrie Irving, but when you really step back and look at it at a skill point of view, Kyrie Irving's on that list.
You're right.
A lot of people forget Allen Iverson.
I'll give you
Was just
Durant.
as
I'll
good,
give
too.
you Durant on
Durant, but the passing isn't there for Durant.
skill. Okay.
I think Durant might be up there with Curry as like best shooters because he could shoot from all 3 levels. He had an inside game, he had a mid-range game, which is almost non-existent in basketball anymore, and he had the 3-point shot. James Harden didn't pass it enough. We don't
John
know.
Morant. You're forgetting
No.
Morant. You gonna put him above LeBron?
Ja, probably not.
You said he's not top 10, and you can't come up with 9 better.
I still don't feel like LeBron's top 10.
Hey, you're gonna get your trade. I think you're gonna.
You think Fox is coming?
I'm getting. He does. I'll bring you his T-shirt. He's been a Fox man for 2 years. Been talking about that. Man. He likes
Kentucky
him.
guy.
I don't even care that he went to Kentucky.
He
That's
just-
how
he
much
just
I
likes
like
him.
him.
He just likes him.
He's a dog. All right. Well, enough foolishness. Stuff that we have absolutely no control over. Shouldn't we talk about the things we do have control, or do you have anything else you want to?
I'm still appalled you said Curry's top 5 all time.
All time.
That's crazy.
I don't. Give
still
him
don't
5.
see
I
him
think
top
he's- I
10.
think he's top 10.
Still don't see top 10.
Name you a top 5, Coach. Go.
All time.
All time.
And I hate to say this. I hate it because people are going to get so mad.
Now, what kind of criteria are we doing? We going
See,
careers or
that's the part
you gonna
that's
have a-
hard because you're crazy if you don't put Bill Russell on there.
okay?
But the man's skill set was not even
Let's go.
comparable to Wilt Chamberlain.
Let's go top 5 basketball players of all time.
Then I've got Curry on my list. Curry, Jordan, and LeBron. There's 3 of them.
I'll give my. I think I got a good 5 basketball players.
Oh, it's hard. I'd have to think about it. There's been some really good basketball players.
Who you got, Tyler?
Highly
Top
skilled.
5.
We're just talking about not what they did in their career. I'm talking about just basketball players.
Skilled.
Just-
See, the way I look at it, though, you got to take in accomplishments and
I'll tell you what
accolades
to
whenever
take
you make a
in.
top 10.
Let's
That's
take
what I
this
look
in
like.
right here. Let's take this right here. You can take any player all time at their peak. Somebody's got a gun to your head, and they say you're gonna get shot if you choose incorrectly. I want to know who you want on your squad.
Are you building a team or just
No, I
Oh, we did that a few years ago.
Yeah,
That was fun.
We're,
we did a
we're
little
about
draft.
to. You got to pick
the five best basketball
the
players?
5 best basketball players.
Are we going by position or just the 5 best? It don't
Yeah,
matter if you have 3
the 5
big men.
best. It don't matter.
Are we talking skill? Like I said, whenever I make a list, you have to take in accomplishments if you're doing all time
We're
and
not
accolades.
doing a
So not that-
Hey, you want me to throw a wrench in it
we're
all?
doing skill.
I'll throw you a wrench in the whole thing because Jokic is way more highly skilled than Shaq ever thought about being. But if I'm going to play a basketball game, give me the diesel. He'll back his hind end down there and dunk all over his face.
Probably so.
If we're talking big men, like you
Yeah.
said, Wilt Chamberlain.
I think Shaq manhandles him.
Wilt,
What's he going to do? Back him down?
I mean,
Guess
Wilt
what
may
Shaq
be
will
the
do to
greatest-
him? Shaq will back him down.
All
Wilt
right,
may have been the
let's
greatest
go
defender
5.
of all time, too.
5
That'd be a
basketball
good
players. Here we
matchup.
This is too hard. We can't do this.
Just the 5 best
Just
of all
because
time.
there's so many different parts to basketball.
There
it's
really is.
go. Oh, we're talking deep? Jordan.
hard. Jordan's on every list.
Okay, Jordan.
Jordan and LeBron have to be on
Jordan,
every list.
LeBron. I think Kobe and Durant are up there on that list. I don't think there's better basketball players.
I'd agree with that.
And then
Kobe and who?
Kobe and Durant.
I ain't as big on Durant as you are.
Durant's my favorite player of all
And then
time.
he's a
I wouldn't
sniper.
put him on there.
I think you put either Steph.
Where's Bird at in all this? And Magic.
Bird's
They're on
top
down
10.
there. I think they're on down there. Skill wise, they're on down there. But if you add accomplishments in there, that puts them up in the top 10 for sure.
Yeah, that's what I look at. Is you have
What'd
to look
Bird
at
do?
accomplishments. 3-time MVP, 4-time champion.
3-time champion.
Talking top 10 all time. He's there.
Everything you
Bird
just
is.
said, Curry's done.
He's not won 3 MVPs.
He had? He won
Curry's not
2?
won 3. I think just
Oh,
15, 16.
Splitting hairs here.
we're splitting hairs if we do a Jordan LeBron debate. We're splitting hairs bad if we do that.
Yeah.
I think Hakeem is underrated.
Hakeem's top 10.
He's pretty good.
Hakeem is the only one I think can bounce out of the top
All
10.
them
Maybe
guys,
Ed
all
Curry.
them guys you holler at like are definitely in there as far as centers. When they played Hakeem, he whipped them off.
Yeah. Hey, that's my biggest argument on those Bulls teams that everybody wants to say are the greatest teams of all time. The 2 years Jordan took off, which one year he came back, I don't know if anybody counts that or not. They got bounced by Orlando. But Houston won the finals there 2 years in a row. 94, 95. Did you know that they always say that the big claim to fame for Jordan, 6-0 in the finals?
What them all them times he didn't get there.
Okay, he lost in the playoffs. What's it matter if it's in the finals or in the first round?
Mhm.
He lost in the playoffs. But they say once he got to the finals, he was 6-0. Have you ever looked at the starting center on the opposing team in those 6 finals?
It was terrible until he played a good one.
Never played Olajuwon. Never had to play a guy like that. Never played a David Robinson. Never played. Where did they have their trouble? A little bit with New York, who had Ewing.
Mm-hmm.
But see, he just never had to go against one of the, his first title was against the Lakers. You know who their starting center was? Vlade Divac. All right, his second championship would have been against
Portland.
Phoenix.
It was a Phoenix.
You know
It
who
was
Phoenix
Portland
is?
not the second.
Portland was the second one. You're right.
I don't even remember.
He passed away. Kevin Duckworth.
Oh.
Okay.
All right. The third one was against Phoenix. You remember Oliver Miller?
Nope.
Big dude.
Who's Jazz? Ostertag?
The Jazz. Now the one from Seattle was his first one back that he won in '96, and then in '97, '98 it was Greg Ostertag. But can you even name the center for Seattle?
Mm-mm.
I mean, you had Sean Kemp, but he wasn't the center. It was like was it Jim McIlvain or? I'm telling you, he never went against Olajuwon, and people call me crazy when I say this. Let him stay on the Bulls and not play baseball, and see if they win against Houston those 2 years.
Who's guarding Jordan though?
Maxwell.
Hey,
Maxwell's not guarding Jordan as
They
well
had
as
old.
you said.
Smith.
They had Tyronn Lue. On
Drexler played on one of them, didn't he?
Yeah.
One of them Houston championships.
They
They
had
put on the second one.
Lue on.
He busted him with Portland, though.
Draymond Green's podcast the other day, and Draymond's always wanting to do that Lakers versus Golden State, and they asked Lou because he coached against.
He played on the Lakers.
Played on the Lakers and coached against. He said, "I'm trying to be completely biased." He said, "Y'all probably had more better players, but he said beat you every time because you had not one thing for Shaquille O'Neal.
Yeah.
Not one thing for him."
As far as Draymond Green and big guys, I think he ran into something he didn't want none of the other day. Did y'all see
You
the
found out
little
Edie was soft,
the little
and he was not.
altercation with
That's a
Zach
big old
Edey?
boy.
I think he thought
Yeah.
Edie was soft, and he found out.
He's one of them. He's turned around like Godzilla, just smacked at him, then stared at him. Big Zach. All right, we got to do something here.
All right, fellas.
Well,
I will
what time
submit.
did we
42
start?
minutes.
I will submit. I thought about it. I would put LeBron at the end of the top 10 of current NBA
Okay.
players.
Current. Thank you, Tyler.
Looking at the beginning of the season, no, I wouldn't have. But the way that a lot of the players that I would have put on the top 10 have performed this year, I would put him at the end of the top 10.
You know what's
I
crazy?
will submit to that argument.
He's been in the top 10 for 22 years. Has there ever been a year he wasn't top 10?
Well, his
Maybe
first-
Probably
his
his
rookie
first year, yeah, because
Just think about
there
what
were
we
probably
just
a lot
said.
of great players then.
Think about what we just said. A top 10 player for 2 straight decades.
That is impressive.
That'll never be topped.
So I'm guessing, just hearing about your arguments, you really take longevity into effect when you talk about athletes.
Am I a fan or an owner? If I'm an owner, I want a guy that's going to sell tickets and give me a chance to win.
Well, if you're an
every
owner,
year.
LeBron probably ain't sticking around too long.
Well, that's true too. I don't know.
Tom Brady, the greatest of all time, then.
You have to,
Yeah,
as bad
you
as I
have
hate
to.
to.
He is.
He
Yeah.
is.
Even though I maybe think that they won a couple.
We got announced.
Teachers, the leadership team will meet in the conference room
No,
here in
it
about
does.
10 minutes.
Who's
don't-
second
Also,
football?
guys, I'm sort of keeping an eye on the weather. The temperature's down
That's
to
a good debate.
39. I know some of you live a little further north and the roads could get icy. It's supposed to start raining about 1. If you are concerned about that, you need to leave at 2. If you can wrap everything up and
We
leave
got
a little
practice.
early, I don't have
What
a
time
problem
you
with
got
that.
Too.
Okay, we got time.
So, football, would you
Mahomes.
say that Brady didn't have as much to do with a couple of those championships as was he even the best player on the team?
The early ones,
Yeah,
maybe.
because it's one of those deals early on where
He did do a game-winning drive that first Super Bowl,
Yeah.
didn't
I
he?
don't know the
I think
Mahomes
2
thing
of them.
too. Right now.
I hate to say it, he probably is.
all time.
Yeah, I think he's 2.
I mean, you
right
look
now.
at it, he's got almost just as many Super Bowls as Montana.
Come back about 10 years, we'll be saying the same thing about Caleb Williams.
Gosh,
You're
all right, we better
on
go on to
that
basketball.
bandwagon. All right,
Let's
we'll
go
move
to
on.
basketball.
You had the Ladies Classic last week. Always a fun trip over to Hal Hennard.
Always a fun trip. Is that how you say it?
Over to Hal Hennard, absolutely.
Maybe for you.
Played 3 tough teams in Knox Catholic, South Green, and Morristown West. Came away with a win. I talked to you after the Morristown West game. You said you felt like your team got better each day through the Classic. So take me through this year's edition of it.
The first round game against Catholic, it was very difficult to score. I think we finished with only 31 points. Held them to 52, which if you look at their schedule, I think we held them lower than anybody all year except they got walloped by Bradley Central, but they may be a nationally ranked team for all I know. But anyway, holding them down there in the low 50s, I don't think was just plumb terrible for us, but we just had a hard time scoring. Cadence led us with 13. She's been shooting the ball really well, been solid for us. But we didn't really get a lot of offensive production. Not making any excuses.
I got one thing here.
Okay.
Is Pierce going in the draft?
I keep hearing
I'll
that
be
he's
honest,
delaying
man.
all this. And
I've not heard of Pierce's name since
he's
before the season
late
started.
first, early second round is what they're projecting.
Yeah.
At the beginning of the year, he was number 1.
Is he coming back to us?
All them other guys
He'll
have
probably
said
go
they're
to
going.
Texas.
Probably so. Anyway, go ahead,
All
Coach.
right.
Sorry.
Why would
that's
you
all
want to?
Not making any excuses at all, but during the Ladies Classic, some people don't even understand that this has happened to us. We have 14 people on our roster. Heidi Trentham, a freshman, in only like our 3rd JV game of the year, breaks her wrist. So she's been out for several weeks. One of those things where we're going to put a little cast on it, come back 2 weeks, see if it's getting better. Let's go back to a cast for 2 or 3 more weeks and reevaluate. So that takes us from 14 to 13. And then I had 2 players that were legit deathly sick. I'm talking bad. And I was in constant communication with the parents about every day, getting texts with an update. But 2 younger players, freshmen, Callie Dobson and Destiny Seaton. So really we got 11 people in there. And Madison McLean, another freshman, has battled sickness and a knee injury. So she was unavailable, I think, for the first 2 games we had in the Ladies Classic. So it started to feel a little bit like last year and the year before that, where we just didn't have as many people available. So I was worried a little bit about our depth, and then I'll mention this, not using it as an excuse. I don't think she would either. But Ella Head deals with migraines, and it's something that's been going on for years. And she had a migraine so bad when we played Catholic that it got worse after the game's over. She ends up going to the children's hospital that night and trying to get some type of medicine that would help ease her pain. She played through that. Now, I mean, you look at the book, she had 2 points. The whole Ladies Classic was like that for her. Even when she started to get better, the medicine that they had her on, I mean, she was just so drained. And I appreciate kids laying it out there, you know, and playing. Mercy in our second round game against South Green. Very sick, probably shouldn't have been there. Refused to stay home. She comes in there and plays, looks and feels terrible. You could just see it on her that she felt bad. Halftime, she gets sick. She has to go to another bathroom, and she's in there getting sick. And people's probably upset listening to me say this, saying, well, she shouldn't have been out there. Everybody's going to get sick. Well, it wasn't one of them things where I'm running a fever and I'm contagious. It was more stomach stuff, you know. So, and we had a lot of that over the break. I think Sam may have had that too.
We had a lot of issues, yeah.
So, even though I think we were a little short-handed, the Catholic game, not our best game, but I think maybe we improved from it. We bounced back against South Green and had 3 players there in double figures. You know, Hannah had a phenomenal game, especially second half. Ended up with 19 and was in double-figure rebounds. Mercy has probably the best game she's played this year, and she wasn't even feeling good. But she had 15. Cadence, again, shot the ball real well, made 3 threes for us. So that was a good win. Now we know South Green was they battled an injury. So I don't think they're as good as they were, or I don't think they're as good as they're going to be when they get everybody fully healthy. But still, just winning in that tournament, doesn't matter who it's against. Anytime you can go into Hal Henard and pick up a tournament win, that's good for us. And then our third game against Morristown West, Coach will know exactly what I'm talking about here. There are games that you lose that you feel okay when it's over. And you're proud of your kids, and you go have a decent post-game conversation with them about how you feel like you grew during the game and you learned and improved some, and that's how I felt after that game. Obviously, the 19 offensive rebounds and the 18 turnovers or whatever it was, you're not going to win many games playing like that, but we felt like a lot of the mistakes that we made were correctable. Some of it was effort, some of it was concentration, I think some of it was fatigue. So, anyway, I thought we competed and fought. There's other games that you win, and you're beside yourself, angry, and that's kind of how we felt in the Chuckey-Doak game the other night. So, not a bad day there. Lauren played exceptionally well against Morristown West. I think she had about 5 threes, finished with 17 points. She's been huge for us all year on both ends of the floor, offense and defense. So we got some good minutes out of our our freshman. I was standing there close to the radio fella. I believe it was Jim Miller that day, doing Radio Greenville, and I had taken Katie and Josie both out at the same time, and I heard him say, "There goes the freshman duo," and I even overheard him say something about how they were major contributors, really in all 3 games. So just very proud of us getting through that, and on to the Chuckey-Doak game. You just want to kill it now.
Yep.
Probably, and I'd say Coach Donahue would agree, that might have been the worst half of basketball that we've sit through this whole year, both teams. It was just a mess. Maybe it was good defense, maybe it was sloppy offense, maybe it was a New Year's carryover where people's been laying around or eating too much junk food. I don't know, but it was. I just felt like the game was slow. We were having a hard time just getting into stuff, and made some bad reads, terrible passes. Somebody be fronting the post, you need a lob pass, and we're throwing it too low. Somebody's playing behind in the post, you probably should throw a bounce pass in there, and we're sailing it over their head and out of bounds. I mean, I thought it was low-level basketball. It was just poor. I'm not speaking for them or their kids. He may disagree with that, but I just felt like on our end it was poor basketball in the first half. So we went in and tried to say something that helped at halftime, and I do feel like we came out a little bit better in the third quarter. It says here we had, I think it says 18 points in the third quarter. We only had 14 in the first half. So did well in the fourth quarter, knocking down free throws when they closed it down there and made it tight again. So just pleased to get out of there with a road win in the county. Has, very difficult to do. Looking over the numbers there, Ella bounced back and led us in scoring. Now that all of her points were in the second half because she had foul trouble. Had to sit a big part of the first half, but had 12 points all in the second half. Closed the game with 4 free throws. So proud of her for bouncing back. Then pretty balanced after that. Lauren 11, Mercy 9, Cadence 8. So just now it's on to another big week. Hopefully the weather will cooperate. We'll get 3 in this week.
Got a short conversation. I think you took, 13 days off between games from the Big H Classic all the way to Chuckey-Doak. Had an in-county game to start your New Year's. Came away with a win in that one. Tell us how good it felt to start the new year with a win.
Anytime you can beat a county team, we'll take it. We had a big break. We tried to get in here, and we took some days off there, the early part of it. But we had 5 or 6 good practices. We're trying to work on us. I think we started off, Coach loaded us down there with games, so we didn't get a lot of time really to work on it, because once you get started, you just worry about the next opponent.
Mm-hmm.
So that was good. We had some older guys come in here, which we always do. So we'll see. You don't never know how your team's going to respond after a long break like that, but I thought it was we played well for 3/4 of the game, and then there for 25% of it, we played about as bad as we could play. Look up in the third quarter after being up 15 or 16 points, maybe even got higher than that. I don't know. Looked up in the third quarter with 2 minutes to go. It's a 2-point game. I'm out of timeouts. Third quarter, that's good coaching.
Out of timeouts in the third?
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
I had to call 3 timeouts to beg them to play hard, and then we called 2. I didn't even call one of them, but when you're going after loose balls.
Yeah.
So they took our last one doing that. Anyway, but we were able to extend it there at the end. All I had to do is I called a play called James.
Works every time.
That Coach Buchanan taught me, and then worked 3 times in a row. Got us a little.
That's real innovative.
Yeah, got us a little separation there. But no, I think Lawson had 19, played well. Lance had 15, and Tyler had 10. Talking about sickness, Thomas had been sick that whole entire week, and he kind of still wasn't feeling great, but gutted it out. Jaden's had a shoulder injury that he played through, and then Isaac and Yeshua played some of the best. Last 2 or 3 games, I think he's kind of starting to round into basketball shape. So, and Havoc's playing more and more minutes for us. So anytime you can win a county game, it was good. I want to give a plug there on. I think earlier that day, Bennett had his surgery for his ACL. He came out of that good. We're looking to get him back over there with us. I think it's real important to try to keep him involved.
Mm-hmm.
I seen an interview with that Jemima Mashak on Tennessee, talking about Estrella out for the year, but how keeping him involved and the energy that he brings every day. And Ben can do that for us because he's still a leader on our team, guy that's been through the battles and seen a lot of stuff. So getting him back and just his voice around the program is going to help us a lot here down the stretch. So, but glad he came through that. Okay.
That's a recap on those games.
Bennett gets a round of applause.
To recap on that, you got a new year ahead of you, though. You got 3 games this week. Very important. You start conference play, too. Get another county game, and you have a home game in here on Tuesday night before both of those. So we'll jump into a break real quick and preview those games here real quick right after this break here on Grassroots Media.
Pizza, pancakes, or donuts, the Davy Crockett Travel Center in Baileyton has the cure for all your cravings. While you're there, shop our general store for souvenirs, gifts, and cellular accessories. In a hurry, grab a cold drink and a hot dog to go. Check us out on Facebook and come to Baileyton.
My name is Robert Starnes. I'm a lifelong resident of Northern Greene County, where I currently reside here with my wife and 3 children. I was a barber in Greenville for the last 6 years, but I have recently changed locations to my new shop in Baileyton. It's at 285 Mortis Hollow Lane, Afton. I'm also a proud supporter of North Greene Athletics. Come see me for all of your men and boys grooming needs. Go Huskies!
Baileyton Drug Company services the surrounding communities of Baileyton with excellent patient care using a full-line pharmacy, over-the-counter selections, and a convenient drive-thru. When you visit us, you are treated as a neighbor, not a number. It's not just our slogan, but our culture. We're investing in our patients, local schools, and community. For over 5 years now, we have established ourselves as an independently family-run pharmacy that isn't driven by corporate goals. We are driven by what is best for your overall health and wellness. We're conveniently located so you don't have to make the drive. Prescription drugs are just the tip of the iceberg. We also offer natural remedies, essential oils, at-home medical needs such as walkers, rollators, bath accessories, as well as wound care products. And coming soon, basic urgent care services. What makes us better than other drugstores out there? When you frequent Baileyton Drug, you will receive professional, courteous, and friendly service that goes above and beyond any other pharmacy in the area. Remember, you're a neighbor, not a number.
Second half of the show.
That's pretty good.
You like him?
Oh, yeah.
You know
Hey,
what tonight is?
The start of his retirement tour.
That's right. That's
We'll
the reason
shed a
I
tear
played
whenever
that.
He does retire.
I did watch some wrestling when I was young, and right about the time he came in, it's kind of the time I don't know much John Cena.
You missed all of it, man.
Yeah.
It's
One
all
of the
over
goats.
with. This is the final
You
year.
got to put him on the Mount Rushmore.
That's a hard discussion, too.
You got to put Cena on it, though.
I'll tell you
I
what,
grew up with Cena.
You'll
so I
have to put him on there because he carried them through a period of time when the bottom had kind of fallen out,
Yeah.
and he helped them survive that. And they got him up there where he tied Ric Flair for most world championships ever. And I mean, you can see this coming from a mile away. At least I can. He's going to carry it one more time.
I think so, too.
I don't
You
know
have
how
to.
long. Somebody may cash in.
Well, if you think back on it, that 16th reign lasted for a month. So even if his 17th just
Yeah.
for a month, you got to give him that one moment.
I think he's going to get number 17. This is his last year. But I think he's going to do a full schedule. I heard
He
somewhere
is.
like 40 dates. So, and not all that's on TV. Some of that's house shows. But the final time is now, I think is what he's saying. He says, my time is now. Well, it's the final time.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
Little disappointed that he'll be retiring, but
Who you got tonight, Punk or Rollins?
I want to see how they end it because I don't know if you've known that they've announced that's the main event. So for the first Raw on Netflix, that's the main event. But
Who
you've got it.
Tribal Combat.
I feel like you've got to end the show with a bang. So I don't know how they're going to make the Rollins and Punk match end.
You don't think Drew's going to get back involved somehow, do you?
I've heard Drew's going to SmackDown, so I don't think.
All right.
But you would think the first Raw on Netflix, do you want it to be a happy ending, hey, Punk wins? Or do you want it to be an interference or there's something extra that goes on that leaves everybody in shock. I don't know. Tribal combat, I think Roman. Rocks.
What do you do with Solo after he's not that? I mean,
Do you start him and Jacob? Kind of a shift there.
maybe.
Where's Paul
Great
Heyman
card.
come in at?
It's a great card.
It's a great card. Rhea and Liv.
A grade card.
Great card.
great-
Her
great-
grade cards go out this week too.
They do.
Great card. What else? There's some other matches, I think.
Well, I don't know if you've known what was announced for tonight, but I don't want to ruin it for you.
Hasn't been announced, so they'll probably say it early on.
Unfortunately, it has been announced. He ruined his own return.
The Rock?
Yep.
Well, I knew The Rock's coming. Yeah, that's been
No,
a
he
thing.
actually announced it on Twitter.
Oh,
So it was rumored that he would be there, but he went ahead and just said, "Hey guys, I'll be there."
well, yeah.
I wish it was more of a surprise because I feel like that's always more special. But
I heard that since it's on Netflix, there's no time restraints.
no, it may go 4 hours.
We can't be doing that now.
Not on Monday nights.
All right.
Until midnight.
Sullivan East, UH, West Green. Home, away, home.
Bang, bang, bang.
Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday.
Take me through it,
Weather permitting.
Just supposed to snow now?
Lord willing.
Toward the weekend. Miss Weems was talking to us about that at lunch. It's looking bad this weekend. So, I don't know. Sullivan East, I saw a film from early in the season, and they looked great. They scored like 20 points in the first quarter. They've got a new point guard freshman that's really good, and some solid returning players. They diamond in one press. They'll play man in the half court, 2-3, 1-3-1. So they a variety of defenses that they'll throw at you. I think they have. I call them killers. Two people that can just kill you if you don't guard them correctly. It might be three. And then some good complementary pieces. And then you look at their schedule, and I can't figure it out. I don't know if they've had injury, sickness, or just unfortunate events. I've been able to get a hold of about 3 films. They're too good to only have one win on the season. And you always fear that you're going to be the game where they break through.
Yep.
So we got our work cut out for us definitely on Tuesday. I've not looked ahead yet to University High. I have gathered some film on them. I just hadn't.
I've watched them this year, and seeing them play, it seems like they've got a lot of players back because I think a few
They
years
do.
ago they were really young. They still
Yeah.
got, I think, both Ortiz girls, the
Yes.
Chandler girl again. Hazelwood's back for a second year too. So
Yeah.
I think you can kind of look last year. It's kind of
I know
kinda
one
just a
thing
replay
that
from last year.
the coach was complaining about just how small they are and how they struggle rebounding and defending sometimes. But I think as far as skill goes and scoring, shooting, they may have one of their better teams they've had in the last several years.
I've watched them play one time, and they seem to play a lot better than they did last year. They seem to be really improved.
And I noticed West Green was missing players over at the Ladies Classic. Some people that were normally in their starting lineup, I didn't see them, and I felt like they're probably dealing with the same thing that everybody else was dealing with sickness and injury. So we'll wait and look at that later in the week. We're just trying to go one day at a time here, but yeah, it'll be a tough matchup for us in your more not the East.
You start with East also. You start conference play with UH, a team that you've had battles with the last few years, and I know some of their pieces have graduated, but they've still got a lot of those pieces coming back to, and then you got West Green with the rematch this coming Saturday. So take me through your 3-game stretch this week.
I'm still trying to finish up on East. I ain't got much time. So anyway, but no, they're
You got 2 hours.
them bigger schools always give us trouble. Seems like with their pace and with their physicality. They graduated a lot of people off last year's team, so I think they're a little bit younger. Got a new coach, so they're doing kind of some different stuff. But I'm sure that'll be a good challenge for us in here tomorrow. And then University High, it's kind of been us two battling for the league since Hampton left. So I'm sure they'll be good. And then West Green whipped us last time, so try not to let that happen again.
Is that all on the recaps?
That's all I got.
Did you see where the kid that played at Sullivan East last year committed to Colorado?
Where'd he go this year?
Side two.
Was it Science Hill?
Yeah,
I know he transferred out.
think that's
There was a cheerleader told me that last year. My office is located right here where the visiting cheerleaders stand. So our games will end, and I try to come in here and I have to walk through pom-poms and all that. But
make sure they don't throw an arm out.
I remember last year I was standing in the office door looking, and there was this big stud on the other team. Just out there throwing bodies around. Me and I think it was Ted Haley that was in here with me, was talking about him. And some cheerleader snapped her head around and she said, he ain't even coming to our school next year. And so, I mean, like, as far back as basketball season of last year,
February,
he knew he was leaving.
They got a little tampering, I think, on that. I think he was going to Elizabeth, and then they had to flip
Tampering. All right. That takes us into another subject. You know, if I'm a high school senior and I have verbally committed to Texas, I don't have a problem, really, with maybe a Tennessee communicating with that kid and that kid flipping. Even though I'm old school, I'm an old man, I kind of like it when people do what they say they're going to do.
Mm-hmm.
But I can kind of get that part of it. You know, you're young and maybe a situation change, there's a coaching change or whatever. But I think, man, once you put your name on a dotted line, and I think that's it. I don't think people should be allowed to, and you may say, well, it's America. You ought to be able to be free to talk to whoever you want to talk to. I just don't. There's something about that that's dirty and nasty. And here's what I'm hearing. And I'm sure Tennessee's as guilty as everybody else. But I'm hearing that other schools are tampering, and there's no rule against it as far as this portal goes. So you got somebody from wherever can contact Nico. I mean, that's our quarterback. Leave him alone. He plays for us.
I've heard the biggest case right now that On3 has been talking about is Quinn Ewers.
Now,
Man, he isn't even finished at Texas yet. He's already had other teams contact him about his future in football.
If you put your name out there and you're in the portal and then you get contacted, that's one thing. But for colleges to be contacting a person and they're like, hey, get in the portal, we got some money, we see you being our next. Come on, man. I mean, it's bad.
That's a good conversation. You probably know more about it because you knew it whenever I mentioned it. Bryce Underwood. What about that whole situation?
Barstool's going to pay him as much as he needed to go play there.
But that was one of those situations. He was already committed to LSU. Had he signed yet?
I don't know.
I don't know if he had signed, but he had verbally committed to LSU. And then Dave Portnoy and boosters from Michigan presented the idea of, hey, we will pay you this much money to be our quarterback at Michigan. And then he flips from LSU to Michigan.
You know who needs to they just need to put Saban in charge of all of it.
Make
you a list of 10 commandments. No tampering or else. No this, no that. NIL limits.
They'll have to eventually, seems like. I don't know.
Also,
it just seems crazy right now.
I sat here looking at some of these stats to see some of these players' names I put out. Anthony Edwards is not top 10, I'm sorry.
I told you he's the most overrated player in the league.
I think Karl Anthony Towns is a player that people have been sleeping on this year, though.
He's no good either.
25, 14, and 4, 55% from the field.
We'll see what he does when
it's
it
real
matters.
good.
Well, we'll see. Normally, guys like that don't get traded.
It's a stats era. This era.
Well,
you can get them stats.
In his defense, I don't really like Cat, but I don't think you can bring that argument up because Minnesota is really notorious for bad trades. How many first-round picks did they give up for Rudy Gobert when they already had Cat at center to begin with? You traded like 3 first-rounders.
What's happening? These people from Saudi Daisy call me every day. I don't know anybody from Saudi Daisy.
Do you answer it?
No, I don't answer it.
That was quick.
It's spam or my dad used to say, I'm getting another one of them scam calls.
Is that it?
That's all I got.
Yeah, no NFL playoff predictions this week?
No, let's do that next week.
It starts this weekend.
I know you got stuff to do.
You got stuff to do.
Oh, let's do it really quick.
Fellas, how about this?
I know who's playing.
Later on during the week, we'll do it over text. That way we've got more time to look and
That's
do
right.
that.
We need
and
time.
then next week we'll come in here and we'll present it. If people don't believe us,
and we will have already gotten some of them wrong, but
exactly.
we can confirm
There's no way.
We can confirm it that yes, he did make that pick.
We will keep the receipts.
Yeah, we'll trust
text
each other.
receipts will be there.
I don't watch much NFL.
I don't either, except when the Bears are good, which has been a long time. I mean, it's on the TV on
You have a team.
Sundays.
Do you have a team?
Mhm.
Who?
Seattle Seahawks.
Are they in?
No.
If I had to pick a team,
That's a weird
They kind of had
situation,
a
too.
Are they in the West?
Well, here's
With San
the thing.
Francisco and all them?
The
Arizona?
West was split this year between the LA Rams and the Seattle Seahawks. With Seattle's win over LA yesterday, they both finished with the same record and a head-to-head split over each other, so they split the division championship. But the way to get into the playoffs apparently now is a strength of schedule factor. And LA had a better strength of schedule factor. And I'm not going to belly and complain over it, but to me, I feel like that's a weird tiebreaker because in NFL, unlike college football and college basketball, you don't create your schedule, they do it for you. So I thought that was a weird way to split it and give LA that trip to the playoffs.
You guys
I feel
were
like
talking
maybe
about
you should
that
do
earlier.
records against your division opponents. If it's tied, then maybe go to point differential, but a strength of schedule that the league creates for you, I think that was a really weird way to determine who makes the playoffs.
Well, you guys were talking about that earlier about how to set up who plays who in the playoffs. And that was the one thing that came to my mind. You may have a situation where you're in the NFC North this year and you had 3 really good teams in one division. Well, that's 4 games on your schedule that you had to play against. I mean, who's to say Green Bay may be better than the NFC East or South champion?
Yeah.
They finished 3rd in the North. So it gets real hard. They get paid a lot of money, and this is the way they've been doing it for long. One thing they do in the NFL that I really like is the second round opponents aren't settled ahead of time. They reseed you after the. I like
think that's
that.
smart. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's smart. So you can't look and think, well, this team's going to play this team now.
Yep.
Win or lose.
if I had to pick a team, I think they got put out here. I like old Joe Burrow. I like watching him. I like the Bengals.
Yeah.
I do like the Bengals. I like the Bills, too. I like watching them a lot. My favorite team to watch now, I think, is the Lions.
I'll tell you what, I'm going.
I like the Lions too.
Yeah.
I'm torn between 2 teams. I'm going to tell y'all this so it'll help influence your picks. I like the Ravens. I think when the Ravens are on TV, and I'm not a big NFL guy unless the Bears are good and they're not good. But Lamar Jackson will make me stop what I'm doing and sit down and watch him play football. I like to watch him play. So I'm kind of cheering for him, I guess. But another one that I like, and this is like a whole franchise thing, I feel so sorry for the fans of Buffalo that I would like to see the Bills win a championship. They've been just right there several times.
You can get past over Mahomes.
Can't
Mahomes
get
is
through.
going to be the tough one to get past.
And I think those 2 guys, ain't they kind of battling for league MVP?
Yeah.
Jackson and Allen?
Mm-hmm. Who's your MVP before we close this
I
up?
mean, I ain't watched enough of it to make an educated guess. So
Lamar has the numbers, but I think Allen has the record and the moments. So, throwing back to the LeBron conversation, it's kind of like 2018. It was Harden's MVP because he had the stats, but
Harden's
that was
won an
probably
MVP?
the greatest season in LeBron's career with all the moments and everything.
Yeah.
It's a good conversation.
Yeah,
Boy,
and Karl Malone got the MVP, what was it, 97 or 98?
98.
It's like him Steve Nash MVPs.
I don't know, he might have earned them. I like
Both
Nash.
of them?
He did not earn one of those. One of those was Kobe's.
Yes.
Kobe had like 36 points a game
Yeah.
that year. I don't care if he was an 8th seed or not that year. That was
Kobe's. That's coming up, ain't it? It was in January.
Yeah, it's 2.5 weeks from now.
Yep.
I went to Los Angeles this past summer and I saw the statue that they have.
They're going to make like 3 of them,
Gigi.
I think.
They have one.
They bring up 2?
They've got one of Kobe himself, and then they've got one of him and Gigi that night that LeBron passed him in scoring, and they were sitting there courtside, and you have that picture of them two. They have a statue of both of them two standing there. That's probably one of the coolest ones they have. The coolest one they have, though, is Shaq.
Yeah.
They have the backboard on the arena, and he's dunking from it, hanging from it.
I'd like to go up there and see all that someday.
It's pretty cool. I don't like how they changed the name, though, do you? It is. Staples Center is always what I'll call it, though.
What is it now? Crypto.com
Arena? Yeah. Or maybe just the Crypto Arena.
It might be the TMB Arena one of these days.
I gotta go eat before it turns into.
Okay. Bye.
That's all we've got this week. Thank you all for watching this week's edition of the Baileyton Drug Company TMB BNT, whatever you want to refer to that show.
That's all we got. An hour and a half.
Presented by Starnes Barber Shop. We look forward to seeing y'all next
Sorry we
week.
couldn't do no
Social
better.
media.
Sorry we couldn't add a little something. Bye.
Bye.